Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the Afterparty podcast once again. My name's Chris. This is Adam.
It's me.
And today we have a special guest and good friend of the show. If you watch the stream, you know who this is.
I'm around.
This is Pat.
I'm Pat.
Atari. Patrick Lilly. And he's just going to be joining us today. We might, I don't know how many episodes we're going to do, but no more than like 2. But for
all right.
This one.
I didn't realize there was going to be that many, so let's go.
Yeah, we're actually going to It's
an all-nighter.
Mm-hmm. So, so I think today we want to talk about a specific. It's not going to be as jolly and peppy.
It's a hero of mine we're going to talk about.
I'm not going to be bitching about games the whole time.
It's going to get dark.
Yeah,
serious.
So there is a. I'm sure everyone's heard about certain missing persons cases.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude, you're strapped in.
There's people missing?
Yeah. Wait, no? What? I know where everyone is. So I'm sure you've heard about certain cases of people missing, but there's one that strikes me more than any
one
other.
That's near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah. And that's the case of Brian Shaffer.
Brian Shaffer.
It's a very odd. Yeah. This is going to be like a very unplanned true crime podcast.
Yeah.
That is actually a very popular form of podcast that we're just kind of mail in right now. But exactly. So
Brian Shaffer.
Yeah. So Brian Shaffer. Adam doesn't know, so we're going to be.
I don't.
It's like in The Godfather. I'm going to speak Italian to Michael. So
I'm getting all the details right now.
yeah. So
Imagine it's 2009, Adam.
2006.
Really?
There's a big difference.
Imagine
like-
2006,
Yeah,
Adam.
yeah, no,
There's a
not,
big difference
He hasn't been
between those
missing
years.
for 8 years. It's been 11.
Okay.
No,
But that means it's.
I'm sorry.
That means it's 2009.
I heard the term 11 years because
Brian
the
Shaffer
documentary
went
I watched was made in 2017.
Oh, okay.
And I heard that number a lot, so I forgot how to do math. So I'm so absorbed in this case like that. But in 2006, Brian Shaffer. Brian Shaffer. He could have been found. Like he's just. I'm not doing any. Like, he could have easily been found by now if I actually gave a shit.
Brian Shaffer.
Yeah, so he was a medical student at Ohio State University, and it was 2006, and he had just finished finals, and he was 27 at the time. And he went out to a bar in the area called the Ugly Tuna Saloon. And he was with... I don't understand what's funny.
Dude, the way this whole story started was like exactly how to be on. Brian was a medical student at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State University. He was going out to the local bar, Mahuna Batuna. And you're like, what is he?
Like, his parents loved him, and his girlfriend was.
What's crazy about it? No one thought anything would go wrong in their perfect world.
Brian lived the perfect life until everything went wrong.
It was just like a normal voice. I was trying not to lose it. Okay, keep going.
So
It's
you're not
funny.
wrong, though. Yeah.
Not funny.
I mean, it is
It's a little funny.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely the most...
You lost me at the bar name, though.
The most odd part of this story is the bar name, for sure. So they went to... I'm bumping knees here.
Sorry. Let me
Okay.
tuck my knees.
I'm just trying to do a good slouch check. But so they went to the bar, and in this bar, or the bar is located in a mall.
What was the name of that bar?
The Ugly Tuna Saloon, in case you missed it. And it's in like this like really weird mall kind of complex.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's in very boring towns, such as the one we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this could be in our area. So you walk into it's like a 3-story mall.
Maybe something similar in our mall. There's like a bar in the one.
Yeah, exactly. But it's in, and so you walk in the door, and there's an escalator to the second floor,
Mm-hmm.
and to the right is this short hallway that goes to the entrance of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see him go up, and there's security camera footage, and you see him go up the escalator, and you see him at the top of the escalator, and he's talking, and he has 1 or 2 friends with him, at least one. His name's Clint. He'll come back into play.
You know, live streams on Twitch and speedrun
Yeah.
Super Mario 64.
So I'm licking my lips. I'm chapped, but that's not going to help. So he goes up to the top of the escalator, and he's talking with his friend, and then he kind of goes off frame, then he comes back in frame. He's talking to these two. He's talking to these two. I was like, I'm sorry. He's talking to these 2 women, and you see him talking with them for about 10 seconds or so.
So we know Brian's got game.
Yeah, exactly. He's seeing someone, and he is just a personable guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I hope Brian Shaffer's watching this and blushing. So please come home.
Oh, Brian's like, dude, they got this all wrong.
So he and then he's talking to these ladies, and then you see him walk out of the bottom of the frame of the security camera, and that's the last anyone ever saw him. So the theory is, or what is like believed, like the official description says that he walked back into the bar, according to eyewitnesses, Clint, and they went, and it was at like 1:56 a.m. So the bar was about to close at 2.
Right.
And so he walked in because allegedly he heard the band in the bar playing Pearl Jam songs, and he loves Pearl Jam. He has a Pearl Jam logo tattooed on his shoulder. Keep that in mind if you ever see him. No one else has that tattoo. So he went in and he said he was going to go talk to the band, like probably just about. And he played guitar, and he was in a band in high school and stuff. So he's somewhat of a musician.
Now I get why you're so into this case.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, this could have been me. And I don't want someone talking about me in a podcast 11 years after I go missing. Actually.
Brian, oh my God. I only knew you from the description of Pearl Jam tattoo.
Oh my. So he allegedly went in the bar to talk to the band, but and then Clint, and I feel like there's another person with them because they went in to check the bar to see where he was because they were about to leave. And they couldn't find him. They called his cell phone. He didn't pick up. So they just go home. They just leave. So great friends, first of all.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so they leave, and then they expect him to come back like the next day and like check in with him. So they thought he left like a different way. Mm-hmm. But as far as we know, literally no one has any of this just even an inkling of where the hell he went. Like, he walked out of frame. Clint, these are the only eyewitnesses that he saw him walk into the bar. That's it. There's no proof that he did, because if you look at, and they say that like in the camera you can see him leave frame and walk into the bar. The angle at which he's walking out of frame is not the direction of the bar, guaranteed. It could have been like he walked around some people and went that way, but he definitely did not walk in an angle that guaranteed his trajectory into the bar.
Do they know, like, was he like intoxicated severely?
Not severely, but he was drunk because they were bar hopping that night.
Okay.
And so he was drunk, and they weren't driven there. They didn't drive there. They were driven there. And yeah, so he was a little tipsy apparently. And that was it. And people think like there's a theory that because you have here's the layout. So you're coming up the escalator, right?
Okay.
And then right here is the short hallway to the bar. Okay. Right, and then this hallway right here, and then there's another corner that's pretty like in line with the escalator, like this. So the escalator, the bar. This is great for viewers. Mm-hmm. And then like there's another little like short hallway that looks like it's like, you know when you see the mall, like those the white doors that look like they probably just go to like a service hallway or something.
Right. Yeah.
Like that.
I played Dead Rising.
Yeah, and so exactly. And so there's that, and then there's like a little exit right here. But at the time, that part of the mall that those doors led to, or that exit led to, was heavily under construction. And if he were to go out that way, he probably would have had a very hard time, because they said, according to the level of construction, it would have been hard to navigate sober. And they checked that area. There was no, like, maybe he fell through the scaffolding and died or something, but there was no evidence, like there's no trace of him anywhere.
So it was like scaffolding? Like it was just like...
Yeah, like it was just, because it's this 2-story wall, and so there's a lot of construction like on both... Like it was probably just from like the first floor up to like the 2nd-story ceiling or something. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of detail on that, which is pretty frustrating. Mm-hmm. They just say it's hard to navigate regardless. Like, so it would have been very challenging for him to go out that way.
It makes you think it's like an obstacle course or something.
Yeah,
there's a foam pit you have to get through. Yeah,
he was in good shape, so he probably he's probably just killing it, you know. Yeah. So that's pretty much like if there was something else in that description, like we don't know about it, like like maybe there was a series of, but then again, where did he go though? Because he didn't go back to his apartment.
Right.
He just disappeared. The police checked his credit card history and his cell phone history. There was nothing on his credit card and no cell phone history. And his girlfriend, after a couple days, went to his apartment to wait for him, and like she would go like every day for like a couple weeks, and just like be sad and confused, obviously.
Right.
And she said she would call his phone every day, and it would go straight to voicemail. And
so bizarre.
Yeah, I know. Everything about it is insane.
There was in the Wikipedia article, like months later, she'd like still call it.
Yeah, she stopped calling after a year, she said.
No, but at one point it rang.
Yeah, at one point it rang a couple times, and she said she kept calling it because she said it was the best sound she's ever heard. And I can't blame her, because that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But then this is kind of fishy too. Like they checked his provider was Singular at the time. Jot that down.
Singular Wireless.
Yeah.
Also my first cell phone provider.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
fine.
Remember that? That's not a company anymore, right?
No.
Can you believe that?
Merged with AT&T.
With the little. Oh, did they? Oh yeah, Singular.
I thought this
AT&T
put him out
Singular.
of business.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by Singular.
This blunder.
Yeah.
The official cell phone provider, Brian Shaffer.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So yeah, like it got out. Like, do not use Singular. You will go missing without a trace. Or like AT&T put it in an ad, just destroyed them.
Oh my god.
So she called his phone, but then they contacted, and it seems like, and so a cell phone tower got a ping from that phone getting a call, and they said it was somewhere in Ohio, but like 12 miles or something in the opposite direction, or like in a weird direction. And the cell phone company says it was a glitch, and they say that some wires got crossed and it contacted a different phone. Never in my life have I heard of a cell phone. Like, I get it if you're like,
the operator.
One moment, please, and you're like, oh, wrong one, and then you like literally wires are getting crossed.
Yeah.
I'm sure that happened pretty frequently back in the days of landlines being the main source, and even in 2006 that was a thing. But they were using cell phones, and they say that it was a glitch, and they called it, and it was the wrong phone. That seems weird to me.
I can say this: I've had someone call my phone, not like when I like was holding it, but people have told me they've tried to call my phone when it was dead and it rang.
Okay.
It definitely happens.
Shit. Okay. Well,
and I think that might be a case of a poor explanation by some person that was like working at the company, and they're just like, "Oh, you know, just contact another phone or something." Maybe.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm saying.
Oh, they were saying like
they just not made something up.
Like it's just a thing that like when like you try to turn it off and on again. Like there's no more logic behind it than that.
Yeah.
So they kind of just tried to tack some reason onto it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it might have been something like that, and it just like contacted another phone line.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just because I swear it's happened to me. And they'll be like, "Oh, I called your phone. Why didn't you answer?" I'm like,
it does get juicier though, because then I don't know
when
this happened.
There's so much juice in this case, dude.
At a Pearl Jam concert, Eddie Vedder announced where he's like, "If anyone knows anything about Brian Shaffer, please give information."
Yeah.
Really?
I think it was in Ohio too.
You think that's what it was all for?
Yeah, he's like, "Okay, I did it," and he's like, "Okay, I'm back."
He went up to the band. He's like, "Guys, I'm gonna go missing.
Oh my god!
You make sure Pearl Jam hears about this."
Oh my god!
I want to have them say my name, and I'm going to use it as my voicemail answering machine message.
It's worth starting a new life and, and destroying my identity.
So, go ahead.
I wasn't even going to say anything. I'm still like baffled a little bit. It's like, how do you go? He didn't have a car.
Yeah.
So like so far you can go between.
There was
the most reasonable theory. Sorry, let me cut you off.
No, go.
The most reasonable theory that I think it still isn't that great is that he went out the back of the bar or something, and his apartment was only like a block and a half from the bar.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe he went and just walked home, and apparently the area isn't that great, and so they think there's some kind of foul play where he was killed. But
are there any like rivers or anything?
I feel like there'd be
people think he killed himself too, and I was watching.
I don't even kill yourself. You can, accidentally fall into a river or something.
Yeah, there was one like kind of close. There's a great channel. This guy's name is John. I think I forget his name. John Luden or something.
Brian Shaffer.
Yeah, and so there's a great channel. There's a show called Brain Scratch. If you want to check it out, he does a whole episode on this case. But yeah, he said that he's like, and just for curiosity, like let's see how close they are to bodies of water, and they're pretty. I think they were like no less than a mile from water. So if he were to go there and kill himself, it would have been pretty difficult.
Why would you do that after graduating, though? That doesn't make any sense.
But his mom, 4 months prior, had died of cancer.
I forgot that part.
Oh, that's an interesting
more juice, dude. Right?
Juice never stops.
Yeah, for real.
It's just hard to believe that they don't find any evidence at all anywhere he could have went.
I know.
Any direction.
Like you think like people would like say someone in the area robbed him, killed him, threw him in the river or something. There has to be something. Like usually like how many times has a serial killer that's a pretty professional killer killed someone and throw them in a body of water and they've been found? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know how many times. Maybe I have no hard.
It also depends whether I mean, serial killer is also a volume. So if one of them washes up, they'll be like, oh, maybe there's more. And they might dredge a river or something.
And then you never really... Yeah.
I think it's... I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but I think there's a pretty decent chance you throw somebody in a river and it's big enough that you probably won't find them. Because no one goes swimming in rivers and cities. And, like, if they're just on the... If they get caught on the bottom or something.
It's hard to believe. But it's so hard to, like... I guess if they tied, like, cinder blocks to his ankles or something, like, kept him down. You know, because it's, like, so hard because the body goes through so many... like physics changes or scientific changes through the process of decomposition. So like you'd think something would happen where some kind of evidence was found of him.
It was in Ohio, but was it
it was like
city?
I forget the name. I can look it up. It's close to the OSU campus.
You think of kind of recent Utica. He jumped off a bridge. The guy, the guy, but they found him like the next day. Like it was that was in New York City, right? So like, pretty big river he jumped into, and like his body was found the next day. But then again, he left items where he jumped, so they knew where he jumped from.
Right.
So that probably gave them a good idea of where to look. But I don't know.
Also, here's the biggest piece. Here's the biggest piece of juice. Okay, the date this happened, April Fool's Day.
You got me really excited.
Gives my Pearl Jam theory more weight because how good of a prank is that? To get Eddie Vedder to announce your name on stage.
Yeah, for real.
It was in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
it depends. Yeah, so
it's not like Chicago or something. You know, it's not
hard,
like But apparently, there were reports of there being a high crime rate in this city.
But.
To have such a clean...
Yeah, it wasn't just like... Yeah. I don't know.
And people think he, like... Then there's the theory that he just wanted to... Because apparently, you read it in the Wikipedia article. He had a dream of, like... Or, like, this, like, fantasy of eventually making a living as a doctor and then living on an island and starting a band in the vein of Jimmy Buffett.
Doesn't make any sense with the Pearl Jam tattoo. I think there's some inconsistencies there.
You can be diverse, you know? So
90s grunge is going to be the best type of music forever.
So people think maybe he like planned a life change and he just like disappeared by design. But
that ain't it.
How did he would he just save up money while going to med school?
Exactly. No.
Like it's all cash because he has no.
Dude, you know that's a good thing. He probably had a lot of student debt. They were gonna find him. If he's student debt, he's alive. Straight up.
Like I know you're kind of joking, but that's
straight up.
Yeah. Honestly,
probably like $200K medical.
Sally Mae's still working on the search.
If anybody finds him,
we need to find that. We need to find Brian Shaffer so we can get the rest of him.
Like that's 10% a joke, 90% serious.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Like straight up, they'll find him.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So I didn't even think of that. That's so fucking.
So if he had a lot of debt, he's probably dead.
Like.
I mean, definitely.
Yeah, but
I don't think he ran away.
I don't know, man. It's so weird.
2006. Yeah, you could.
The Wild Wild West, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could probably get away with. I think you could disappear somewhat easily in 2006.
People weren't completely on the grid.
That's true.
Yeah, you know that was the year the iPhone came out, and I feel like that was a big shift.
Because I guess he had a phone. He had a cell phone because his girlfriend called it. But phone.
Did they have like a? I guess that wouldn't have been a thing yet. Like a last point, they saw his cell phone. But like it would have just been last time he made a text or call, right?
Yeah. And people, so, which was like the day. I mean, I'm sure there was something. And
my phone, every time I freaking move, is probably like.
Yeah.
Snapchat. So he's right here.
Mark Zuckerberg. He's here.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually did that recently for Pokemon Go, because apparently you could switch it on so it tracks, you get steps while you're not using it.
Right. Always on.
It's terrible. It doesn't work. But my phone lets me know, hey, Pokemon Go's been tracking you, and these are all the points it saw you at, and they're like fucking 10 points,
that
between my. I turned it off.
Okay.
I mean, now it probably just doesn't let me know.
Yeah.
But
I have something way spookier.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had a Android phone since. Probably halfway through college, at least. I've been using Google Maps a little longer. I can go on Google and tell you every place I've traveled basically for the last 10 years. Every place. It probably has a count on how many times I've been to a game store. And it has I'll click on it and it tells me these dates I've been there. I'm like, what the fuck? like every day for the last 10 years.
It's like the first 200 hours of Breath of the Wild.
Dude, for real. It's like that. It's straight up like that.
Yeah.
And then, like, I remember I saw this one dot out in the middle of nowhere, like, north of here. I'm like, what was I doing? Mm-hmm. And I looked. It was like a yard sale thing I went to. Not a yard. It was like a
swap
flea market?
Yeah.
Yeah, flea market.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. It was a flea market. I was like, oh my God, I forgot I even went to that. And I had to click on it, enhance.
And you're just standing there and there's a can like
it's so wild. I'm like, this thing's tracking
my
me.
brother works in computer science, like he's a programmer, and he's programming this financial software for it plays some part in using Venmo. I forget what it is. I think it's the link between Venmo and your bank account. But by accepting the terms of use or whatever, you're accepting it to know the last 3 years of your transaction history.
So it's stored. So it's stored somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're like, okay, I want to use Venmo. I have to hit okay on this or I can't use Venmo. And I just gave away 3 years of my transaction history.
Part of that freaks me out with the maps thing, at least. But a part of it is, I'm like, it's kind of neat that the like technology's this far. That like, literally,
I'm scared they're not going to use it correctly. They're going to use it against me as opposed to as a cool thing.
Yeah. The whole thing is like, say that we are in a much more of a dystopian society than we think, than we're aware of. Like, but the whole point is to like keep it at bay so that it doesn't flip on itself.
Skynet,
you know? Yeah, yeah.
We're talking about Skynet. Let's be real. Yeah. Like, we're actually talking about Skynet at this point.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg had to testify, and then for using people's private information, which is like that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. So it's kind of just like a safety in numbers thing. Like, as long as it's happening to a lot of people, it probably won't harm any individual.
Yeah,
I think it still sucks, but like my life, as far as I know, is not different because of it. You know what I mean?
I do hate when you talk about something and you get an ad for it.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
That's like, and people joke about that, but I don't think anyone actually stops and be like, "That's actually what's happening."
Oh yeah.
No,
so they're clearly recording what you're saying.
No, I have 100% proof of that because I was watching a documentary on Lego on my computer, like the history of Lego, and my phone was next to my computer, and I didn't touch my phone. I just watched the documentary, didn't say anything about Lego on my phone, and the next day I got ads for Lego on Facebook. And
happened to me with weighted blankets. I've never even Googled it, looked it up, anything. Mom's like, I got a weighted blanket, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, weighted blanket, weighted blanket, weighted blanket. Yeah. My phone's like, did you say weighted blanket?
Huh?
And then it's Instagram ad.
So the scary part about that is though, like, because it's kind of funny if it's just ads, because you're like, what, I can ignore these.
Right.
But think about how else they could implement that. Or if you say worse, if you say things that are illegal, even as it's like,
I want to kill the president.
Yeah, like, that's entering 1984. Where it's like you can't even think about stuff, or else that's a crime. Yeah. Like that's like almost where we're at. Yeah. It feels like.
Nah, that's the spooky when you like start taking it that far. You're like, oh god, what if they are going to start tracking my thoughts?
Excuse me, but the thing is,
chip in my brain.
Let's say the FBI man meme is as severe as it's joked about.
I don't think it's 1 for 1, but
you know what I mean. Like, say people are like monitoring you at all times.
Right.
If you Google, I want to take out the president, they're gonna be like, whoa, wait, he said this, and you check, and be like, okay, he's probably. Like, they look behind it and see how serious it might be. Because if they like get you, and then they blow their cover, you know, and then all of a sudden it was useless because it was just fucking you're memeing or something, you know. So they have to look like they probably see it, and like you're on the watch list or whatever, right? But you like maybe, you know. But then like they'll keep an eye in case anything gets serious. But I feel like it would take a lot for anyone to take action through that because how many. Still, at this point, now we're getting into deeper conspiracies. Okay. How many shootings have happened after someone Googles how to commit a mass shooting?
Yeah. How about this? How many shootings have happened and after they come out and say, oh, we were onto him?
Yeah.
That always happens. They always say, like, oh, we saw this. Or then people are like, oh, he posted this on Facebook.
Yeah.
And they're like, how did they not see it coming? And then,
but then it's like,
I'm nervous when I Google, like, how to make a bomb out of...
Yeah. And then it's like, but then you get...
It's like, how do I do the thing where I pop the water bottle cap really fast?
Yeah, exactly.
How do I be cool in 4th grade?
Yeah, then I'm just like, oh, God, they're coming. They're going to get me.
But then it's like, but if they saw that, that's clearly something that they should act upon.
No, but here's the thing. So...
I'm ready.
So... I think the volume of that is that I don't think those people do anything that crazy. They're not like, how do I shoot up a place? Like, it doesn't happen. They Google stuff that other people are also Googling, and those people are never going to act on anything like that. they're just like looking for like they just want to buy a firearm. They're looking for like certain firearm stores or whatever.
Yeah.
But
if you like, if you pick and choose.
Think about YouTube and Twitch algorithms already. How they strike out people who don't actually, they're not offending anything. Mm-hmm. They just kind of resemble offending something.
Yeah.
So
think about like, how powerful that could be.
Yeah. So that's like actually, I mean, Twitch and YouTube obviously aren't life and death, but like think about if the government like decided to go that far. Like that already happens.
If Twitch and YouTube
platforms.
can do it, then they could do it. Yeah. Or they are doing it, but someone's like monitoring it.
It's also true that
unlike Twitch,
if there's a shooting, obviously that like they didn't catch that person.
Right.
But if they caught someone and there was no shooting, no one would know about it.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing. Should they? So, Facebook and all these things like YouTube, Twitch, they censor this stuff. Mm-hmm. Is it if they can track this stuff? Is it better that they censor it, or should they leave it be there and notify someone, and be like, hey, you might want to keep an eye on this if this keeps happening, right?
To like local police.
Yeah, like whoever.
They're about censoring like the
Wait, so who would be reporting it again? Sorry, I was
like if Twitch
has
it, like their algorithm, or YouTube has their algorithm, and they filter out like, oh, this kid posted some really messed up things that were like him with a gun and like talking about how he like hates this group or that group, and they know he's located here. Do they? I guess they could do both. Really, they could take it down and do this,
report it.
Or do they leave it up and then like report it, and then they can see like, I guess, who's like interacting with this? You know what I mean? There's like loud different layers.
You're saying like kind of pose an experiment, like save a good one and see how the people you report to handle it.
Not even handle it, like just like let them know this is happening. I guess it's just up to the company at that point, right? If it's YouTube, it's their platform, they can do what they want. But like, do they censor stuff and then like you possibly cut off a line of information, right? You're just cutting it off there. You're saying, hey, we just saw this little thing. There's a little blip. Yeah. It's done there. Or do you leave it there and say, this is like, you now have like somewhere where someone's posting something actively, and you can like...
So you can track it easier?
Because
then if you cut them off, then they're going to still be saying stuff, just not on that platform, so you'll track it as easily.
Like, no one will know about it. Like, if he's not posting that, I bought 20 guns today,
See, that's what the algorithms are doing now, though, where it's like they hide stuff that YouTube doesn't want you to see by just not promoting it. But they also do that to... I don't know.
But that's
they also
misuse
grossly
abused. Yeah.
That's true, too.
Like...
Where if they have a type of comedy that they don't agree with or that it's not good for advertisers, then they also do that.
Right.
Where it's like it's not harmful. But.
Yeah, to like such an extreme extent. It's like some of it's just like why? Like I don't. So it's if that is a power they have, it's being like maybe though they're doing it so you like are distracted.
What do you mean?
Maybe they're like grossly misusing it so you get mad at them for blocking someone that's a comedian that they don't like, rather than like. Them just like looking. I don't know. It's just saying like maybe some kind of what's the thing? Like a slight effect, like misdirection.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it always though. The thing is too though. Even if YouTube blocks, censors this or that like really bad thing or whatever comedy thing, it always goes somewhere else. It's somewhere else online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Someone's downloaded it and can re-upload it.
Not even that. Like that guy that's maybe crazy dude posting insane stuff on YouTube. He'll go to
Vimeo.
Yeah, exactly.
Vimeo's basically the dark web.
Or some random like I forget what this website's called. My brother told me about it. It's just like Reddit, but it's so messed up.
4chan?
No, not 4chan, dude. I went on it at a time after something controversial happened. I was like, I should not be here. I am on a list for typing in this website.
Yeah, really.
I forget what it's called, but yeah, it was.
Okay, well, even if you remembered, probably don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it because those people are insane. I don't want to.
Christ.
But it was just like I was like, wow, dude.
So that's just something we got to live with the internet, though. That question, it's like, since everyone can say whatever they want. How much do we let people say whatever they want? Which then like goes into the First Amendment and like
it's
public
crazy.
Safety and like just expressing yourself.
It was great. Yeah, it's weird when you kind of see because like Reddit banned this subreddit. You're like, oh, that's gone. Good, that's gone. Yeah. Like no, it just went somewhere else.
Yeah,
it's still there, and now it's like
incels got banned, brain cells, and now there's just incels.com. Like there's just a fucking forum website that everyone like again there's like you said they're just gonna relocate.
Yeah, and it's like oh god when you see those places, dude, it's actually scary. You're like oh god this shouldn't exist. So Brian.
Yeah. So but yeah that's so And even if we go over, I don't care if we go over.
Shit.
I didn't even check the time, so I don't know how long we go, but I don't care if we go over 30 minutes because this is juicy.
Yeah.
So, if so, what were we saying? So, the cell phone tracking, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying like they
Jesus
would have. So you're saying how they would have, like they could have checked the last time it got tracked.
Right.
Theoretically,
Like
yeah.
with my phone, they would literally be able to see where
Oh wait,
it was the last 10
no.
years.
I think I heard they checked and it wasn't hooked up. It wasn't GPS.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. It's
Tracked.
2006.
Yeah. So like it probably wasn't a. I'm sure there were phones that had it, but like his did not.
You can also might, if he was actually trying to disappear, the SIM card is usually what stores all that. I don't know if his phone even had it enabled, but you could remove the SIM card and they'd have no idea where you were.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still true. Because I feel like there might be some other thing.
Some carriers, like
Except I think
AT&T has them.
But the GPS isn't dependent on the SIM card, though. I don't think.
You're right, actually, yeah.
So I think they could still track phone, but who would have that information? All right, I don't know
what else
the
I'd
answer to
like,
this
you know what else
question.
I'd like to know? Since it wasn't GPS, they go off the cell phone ping, right?
Right.
That mix-up, since we don't really know anything about it, where it's like the wires got crossed or whatever, that obviously is not a good explanation.
Yeah.
I wonder if that takes area code. Like, I wonder... She obviously she had the contact that dialed the area code, right? I wonder if that could have gone to fucking any phone in at least America. You know what I mean? And so I wonder... It probably was restricted to the area code, you know? But if it wasn't... I don't know, this is all hypothetical, but like, you know what I mean? Because if it could go to anywhere, why would it go to that one?
Right.
That's my point. It's like if it was a thing, maybe that would be something to consider. But that just crossed my mind.
I see what you're saying.
I didn't really add anything.
I'm not sure.
You know what I mean?
I don't know how that would work, yeah. I don't know enough about the cell phone infrastructure in the United States.
Yeah. What's another element? There's more to it.
Clint's still going strong, right? Clint went rogue and he's still investigating.
Really?
No, his brother is.
Oh, okay.
Clint though, okay. Clint has been kind of like nonchalant about the whole thing, and he was cooperating initially with the police, but then at one point it was like this switch flipped where he, as they say, lawyered up and would not talk. Like he wouldn't say anything about it. So that either leads me to believe that. I would say there are three possibilities with that implication, right? I would say Brian did want to disappear, and Clint initially was like okay with like covering up and trying to lie about it, but then he realized he might be choking, and so he just wanted to shut up so his cover wasn't blown. Right. So that's the best one, because then that means Clint is not guilty in any way. The second one would be that Brian was a good looking. I hopefully say Brian is a good looking guy. He was a doctor. He had a great girlfriend, and he had a great life, and he had a great path ahead of him. So maybe Clint was like pretty jealous of him and wanted to get rid of him somehow. You know, and he's not talking about that anymore.
Hey, but don't they see Clint leaving the bar?
Yeah, but he just says like, "Oh, we checked for him and then I left." Like, if he really gave a shit about him, then he would have like been a little more worried.
Were they really good friends?
Yeah, apparently,
Okay.
like they were.
I'm skeptical theory 2.
Okay, but then theory 3 is that he did something to harm him, and like that we don't know about, and
I got 2 alternate theories for you.
You know, I think I forget my third one exactly. I think there's a third one, but it's something like that where Clint had something to do with it, right? So that's what that makes me consider. What were your alternate theories?
So eventually, at some point, like missing really doesn't have an end date. Like, so maybe Clint was just like, you know what, he's gone. I'm gonna accept it. They're still investigating or whatever, so I'm just gonna get a lawyer, and they have to go through him to reach me, and I just don't want to talk about it anymore.
And maybe part of it too, because my theory is more that route too, is that he's like, and I don't want this to like turn back on. I'm one of the last people that ever saw him.
That's true too.
So he's thinking, maybe after a while goes by, and maybe someone asked him a question. He's like, "Oh God, like, are they accusing me?" Also, like, maybe he got asked a question.
Yeah, that's.
And now he's like, "Oh crap!"
I heard that theory. That's a good point.
Time for me to lawyer up. I don't want anything to do with this anymore.
And everyone, this is kind of like in defense of Clint in a way. He
Are you pro Clint or anti Clint?
I don't know, dude.
I think I'm pro Clint. I know very little about Clint.
But apparently, like, I heard this. There was this initial really fucking good documentary video I saw on YouTube, but it's gone. It pisses me off because it was like a half hour long. It was really in depth and it was really well made. But it's not there anymore. And they said that the family was kind of surprised by how standoffish and kind of, I don't want to say rude, but just not himself. Clint was being. So
like immediately, or was this
relatively
okay
within a relevant amount of time?
I got you. Yeah.
So yeah, I could see that being a thing where he didn't want to. He just wanted to cut himself off completely in case he did get accused and then like slipped up and incriminated himself or something.
Right.
He did refuse to take a polygraph test, but that means nothing to me, honestly. I would never take a polygraph test in any case. I don't give a shit because it's
I'm trying to lie. See what happens.
But yeah, fucking, they strap you up. They could just ask you something that you really do not. Then you're trapped. You know.
You can choose not to say though. If you think,
yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I think
if you're like, if I get a lawyer to back me up, they're not gonna like this. This answer is actually unrelated to, or this question's unrelated to the case. Then I'm not talking.
Not admissible in court. Not admissible.
Yeah, I guess it's not. Yeah, but yeah, so it's like everyone like always mentions that. I'm like, that doesn't really.
I would. Much. Yeah, I'm the same boat as you. If I knew like say someone went missing and they're like, Adam, I just want to bring in for a polygraph. I'm like, no,
no. Yeah, exactly.
So or even if you just felt guilty about it.
That's what I mean.
I'd also probably
I would be sitting there and I would be like, okay, I hope I don't sound like I'm lying about this thing. It's not a lie. And then I would get my heart rate up and then it's like, oh shit, dude, book him, fucking book him.
So my other theory was, what if so Clint thought he's like disappeared or whatever, and then maybe he gets contacted by Brian, and he's like, hey, I started a new life or whatever. Just like give it up. So you're saying
later? That was my initial. That was just a delayed version of my initial one. Was that like he knew about it beforehand, and then it happened, and then he just kind of knew about it. But then maybe,
him contacting him that gives me spooky chills, dude. Yeah. Actually,
where like Clint goes into his apartment at night and turns on the lights, and Brian's like sitting in the corner, and he's like, "Clint, stop looking for me."
Goddamn, man.
Don't say it. He's got like a bandana. He's like biting a knife. So I don't know. The thing that creeps me out the most is the cell phone ringing, but it also like makes me happy because if I were in her position, that'd be like,
think how devastating that would be, though.
That's literally like someone coming back to life. You know what I mean?
All right, but think about, so the phone rings, then what happens after the phone rings?
I think she said only rang like it goes to voicemail. Like she said.
No, but I mean, you're the girl. You're like, oh my god, it's ringing.
Do you not know how cell phones work?
Wait, so how do I get to the ringing part?
Yeah, and then you hang up.
How do I know which is his number?
Yeah. Oh boy. But what were you saying, sorry?
Like, just think of how devastating that is if like I said, like the whole closure thing, where it's like, oh, finally, like this is gonna pay off. I found like I've been faithful this long, trying to find him.
Yeah, it just
now it's gonna pay off, and then it clicks, and you're like, nothing's changed.
Yeah,
just how devastating. Stomped out.
Because then that would just bring back what it felt like initially, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I knew someone that was like my kid, I would want that not to happen.
Yeah.
And you know what else? You know what else happened? This is usually kind of dismissed, but someone made a good point about it. Brian's brother, God bless him, this poor guy. His mom died before Brian went missing. Brian went missing, and then I think 2 years later, his dad died.
Jeez.
So he's the only one left, and his whole family just kind of fell away from him, which is heartbreaking. Yeah. And so when his dad died, there was like an obituary online, and this was like 2 or 4 years after Brian went missing. And on the obituary was a comment, and it said, like, rest in peace, Dad, I love you always, and it said Brian, U.S. Virgin Islands. Okay, so it was found out to be a hoax.
Yeah,
like it wasn't him. But what if he wanted? Also, what if someone knew something and they were doing that as like a tip off, like
If I'm starting a Jimmy Buffett like band, I'm probably going to the Virgin Islands.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like people were taking that into account. I'm sure someone. It could have been a hoax where someone's like, oh, well, maybe say he's in the Virgin Islands because that's believable because they used to say that, you know. Because I'm sure that was brought up in like a local news story. Excuse me. So that could have been common knowledge. But what if it was like a kind of discreet but not so discreet way of like notifying?
Yeah.
But then, okay, so that's if he disappeared and is like by choice.
Right.
He disappeared by choice. People think he went into the bar and someone, like he pissed someone off and they killed him. And apparently there was a wall in the bar. I heard this a while ago, so I might be fuzzy on it.
It was under construction or something.
Yeah, and there was a wall that had to be filled with concrete. So people think that like there's a theory, I think, again, I could be, if you're listening to this now, I could be very wrong, but I remember a theory being that someone killed him and put him in the wall, in the concrete.
I distinctly remember hearing that theory too.
Yeah. So, and it was very possible because of the construction. But apparently, the forensics department did some kind of X-ray, and they brought dogs in and everything. That's the biggest thing. They brought fucking dogs in, and they couldn't smell, like there was nothing.
Wow.
And I can't believe that, you know?
They had items with his scent, and they had the dogs. Like, how does that work?
They probably did. I'm sure, like, they had his apartment. His girlfriend was in his apartment, so they probably got his scent. But there is no DNA sample. That's another weird thing to add to the fucking...
What do you mean? So,
like, they
had no DNA record of Brian's? They can't match anything to it? Okay.
That makes sense.
Which is... Does it, though?
No, it doesn't make sense. No, because you get, like, hairs or something from his apartment.
Oh, they couldn't find anything at his apartment?
No, I mean...
Or, like, there's no DNA sample that they could match with, like, to, like, take note of and then go looking for it.
Why not?
I don't know. Like, they just said there isn't.
That's me. No, but...
You're saying, like, you could have found something?
Yeah, at his apartment.
Maybe
like,
it was, like...
toothbrush or something.
It might have been, like, maybe there's no significant record of his DNA or, like, fingerprints or something. I'm not sure, but... but he was fucking in medical school. He had to have gotten his fingerprints at some point.
That's the only thing I've ever done, is fingerprints.
Sure, if you work I'm sure you had to work at a hospital or like be employed at a hospital in some capacity, and I'm pretty sure you have to be on record for that.
Yeah. So it's like that was kind of a quick piece of information that I heard, but I'm like, why? How is there no significant piece of him? You know. So yeah, dude, I really hope. I don't know, man. I hope I find out in my lifetime what the fuck happened to this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because this, I found out about this like a year ago or so now, but until now I kind of like dug back into it, obviously. But I've thought about it so frequently, you know, because like nothing adds up. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I always feel like with stuff like this, I forget who. I feel like I heard like this on TV. I feel like I heard like a cop say it or something. Like with 90% of cases, it's like
don't get solved.
No, it's like it's usually nothing like beyond our imagination. You know what I mean? It's probably something so simple happened.
Yeah.
But there's just no record of it. Like they don't.
Like so
maybe
clean.
he did. Yeah, maybe he did just something. He walked through an area he shouldn't have, and someone killed him, threw him off a bridge, and he just happened to wash perfectly down this river.
Yeah.
We never see him again.
Maybe he got kidnapped.
Maybe he was super upset about his mom. Maybe his kid's kidnapped. Whatever, and he just something weird happened.
Yeah.
It's probably that.
Like
it might be. Maybe I'm gonna say probably is that simple.
Yeah, like there's some element of like anomaly.
Because like, if I start thinking it's not that simple, I weird myself out.
Yeah.
Because you could also, they might arrive to a conclusion too late to be able to prove it. Like if he jumped in the river or whatever, and they think about it a month later, it's like there's no way he's still around.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like it kind of took a while for people to kind of kick into gear. It seemed like his girlfriend took like 2 days because they were supposed to go to Miami in like 2 days after, on like April 3rd. And so
also another interesting.
Yeah, no, I was gonna get to that because
it's in Miami.
What is it in Miami, dude? You know
Cuban
what I mean?
sandwiches. I think we're on to something.
Hang on.
Yeah, let's add that to the yarn map.
That could be point 2.
Right in the middle.
It's just Brian Cuban sandwich.
Key piece of information. Yeah, so it's so he went like the next day. Like so they were at the bar. Clint, whatever. They waited till the next morning. He didn't say anything. The next morning, that's when people seem to like start getting worried.
It's kind of weird once you're an adult. You know, like. How do you determine if another adult is missing?
That's true too.
Well, if I do worry about that at all, I'll like text. First of all, I'll check Snap, see if they have their thing on.
Another thing is though, this was a bit of a different time, right? 2006. I think
Yeah.
2006 is a bit of a different.
Like I was saying before, I think that's like a huge turning point.
For real.
In like
I mean,
average.
if I didn't know the location of one of my friends, I would ask another one of my friends that also knew them.
Yeah.
Or like a girlfriend or something. That's what I go for.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen or heard from them at all?
Yeah.
Like,
And they said no.
Like, is his car there or something? Like
how long would it take me to like tell the cops to be like, you know what I mean?
Also, if this is a small odds thing, but if you think someone's missing, there's this rumor that you have to wait 48 hours before filing a missing persons report. That's not true. The second you feel someone's missing, report it. To the authorities. Don't waste 48 hours.
That was in Arrested Development.
Was it?
Yeah, they were like, you have to wait 48 hours to report a missing person. So.
You're not.
What episode was that in?
It's like season 5.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The original 3 seasons, fantastic.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Some of the best
sitcom writing ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a weird thing because think about it. Let's say going way back now, 90s. If someone's isn't around for a day,
it's just okay.
You can't call them. You can't do this. No cell phone.
Yeah.
You just hope they show back up. And it's all right. It's been 2 days.
Yeah.
Still not around. So it's I think that's more in that gray area where it's it's 2006, smartphones and
if anything, I would say 2006 might be the very last year of that era.
Real. Yeah. So it's I feel maybe there's some
Is it bad that I want to try and go missing now just to see if I can do it?
Yes,
to beat the cell phone companies and
I would be very upset at you if you did.
Don't do that. That'd be scary.
Guys, I'm back. What the fuck are you doing?
It's everyone. It's a day off from SpongeBob Day or whatever, where no one's in Bikini Bottom and they all come back and they're just all taking a break from SpongeBob.
Forgot about that.
Oh, that's the who are you people? Because then it's they're all hiding from Patrick and he's
Yeah, but that's something to consider. I feel why they didn't report it right away.
That was incorrect. I'll correct my statement later.
No, that's it.
That was the episode. That was the episode where Sandy is looking for SpongeBob.
Oh, and he's hiding.
And they all hide from her because she's crazy.
Right.
And they're hiding in Patrick's house, and their eyes are underneath. He's like, "Who are you people?" So anyway, sorry, I didn't want to.
No, you had to
get backlash from my.
There's been an official Airspace redaction.
Yeah.
I do amend that statement. It's fine.
But sorry, what were you saying? So about the cell phone?
No, I mean that was basically what I was gonna wrap up. So it's I don't know. It's just a weird time where it's if it was maybe 2016, maybe the next morning people are reporting it instead of being oh, Brian didn't come home yet. Wonder what's he doing? I don't know. It's a weird thing.
And then this is not really. This kind of just always catches my attention. So there are a couple pictures of him with his mom and his dad and his girlfriend. I think it's maybe 2 or 3 pictures, and he's making a hand symbol that looks like that. He's holding his hand next to his hip, and his hand, if I'm doing the camera, it looks like that in the picture. Yeah, if you can you pulling it up.
Sorry, Mom just tweeted something. I got distracted.
So he's doing this. Okay, it's not solid enough to be ASL for I love you. It's not tight enough to be
ASL.
He's not trying to be Pearl Jam, except down.
Age, sex, location. Misunderstood.
No, I think about that too.
There he is, by the way. That's our boy.
He's a good-looking guy.
Good-looking guy.
So I said that Clint off, dude. Clint's not having it. Theory 2.
Oh God, this is stressing me out.
So
what's this? What's this about?
Do you have that picture on the Wikipedia?
I'm trying to find it.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's just, he makes it so that.
I'm sorry, Mike.
And then there's another picture where. So I'm gonna show this to the camera. Real
Weird.
Quick.
Is him?
Because there's no conclusion yet.
Yet.
Yeah. So.
Is it still open? Are they still actively investigating anything?
I don't know.
I mean, at this point, it's kind of it's almost pointless.
It's it's true.
It's kind of up to if he's out there, it's kind of up to him at this point. Also, his girlfriend has moved on, and apparently she's married and has kids. So good for her.
How dare she? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Because that poor woman.
Yeah, that's tough.
So
we know how to live with that.
Yeah, please look into it yourself. It's very interesting.
Contact your local authorities with any information.
Exactly.
If you see any dude doing this,
so, I think there's still a website about information that they have with him, and his brother still runs it. I think. So maybe not legally. Maybe it's not legally still open, but his brother's still obviously looking. And his brother apparently that night he called him and asked if they could come to his house before going somewhere, and he said oh, I'm doing something with my girlfriend or something like that, where he said no, and he's I feel what if I did would he still be here? And that sucks, dude.
Yeah.
He said something like that. You can do that. Everyone involved has something like that. What if I did this? And it's
yeah. because you have nothing. You don't know what happened, so you don't know what the chain of events or the significance of each link in the chain has. So please look into Brian Shaffer, and I mean, obligatory. If you hear anything or see him, we'll put a link in the description to his
Pearl Jam concert. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, for real.
We'll put a link in the description to his Wikipedia article, and some. I'll do that brain scratch video because that's a great video. So check that out. And I don't know, man. Just come up, just think about it yourself. And if you have anything you want to say about it, leave a comment. Let us know. Thanks for watching, Pat. Thanks for being here. We'll probably. You guys got another soda?
I got nowhere to be.
Yeah, I'm sure.
10:18. Yeah, dude, we can.
I got one more.
Yeah, cool.
Sure.
All right, so we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.